Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so that potential buyers can learn more about the business and the seller to help them make an informed buying decision. If you would like to learn more about this business, including details like what type of business it is, how much revenue and profit it makes, and all of the assets included with the business, simply visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business's listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and in the description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. So without further ado, let's get into this interview. First up, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your background in building and running online businesses?
So my experience with running online businesses and starting brands is I've been building e-commerce brands for about, 9 years now. And I started this particular business with the goal of creating a premium company in the gaming space. And the original plan was to eventually expand into other products. But, seeing how competitive and capital intensive that the other products were, I decided to stick with the category that I originally started with. When I started, most of the products in the niche were really low quality and lacked that craftsmanship kind of touch. So I wanted to create something that felt better for people, and you could really tell it was premium off the get-go. And that alone has carried the brand to what it is today. And it is recognized in this niche as being a leader. And, that attention to detail really did pay off because people started to recommend the brand organically. And I was really not spending, or am still not spending a lot on advertising. Most of it is still organic. So what started as a small idea for a problem that I had personally has basically grown into a highly profitable, well-established brand. And we have thousands of customers now. And it still blows my mind that we brought it to this point. And yeah, it's been a ride, but, it definitely paid off.
Why are you selling the business now instead of keeping it and growing it further?
If I'm being completely honest, the reason is that this brand has kind of lost a spark for me. Not because, sales are down or profits down or anything like that, because people are more in love with this brand than definitely when we started, which still blows my mind. But my personal interest in it has kind of died. I originally started this brand by turning a hobby of mine, which was, desk setups and, creating nice looking setups for myself, my wife, my friends. And I turned it into a business. And, it was really fun for the first couple of years. And to take it further, I really needed to step back and devote all my time to it. But in the meantime, I do have 2 other brands that I'm actively running. And splitting my efforts, I've learned, is very difficult. And instead of, trying to juggle everything at once, I decided, why don't I just let go of one brand that I just don't have that spark for anymore and double down on the other 2, or possibly get rid of one more and just double down on the one that I actually really enjoy. So that's the reason for selling it. It is kind of painful to sell it because this is kind of my baby. I started this from scratch and built it up to what it is today. And I'm very proud of it. And this business will do great if somebody actually gives it a little more care than I can right now, because I just can't bring myself to grow it further without having that passion that was initially drove the brand to what it is.
Can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business to maintain it?
Day to day, I usually spend I want to say anywhere between 4 to 7 hours a week managing the business. Most of the operational type tasks, such as like customer service and, influencer partnerships, are all handled by a couple freelancers that I work with. So my primary role now is simply just monitoring the inventory and reordering with suppliers and just manage reviews or stuff like that. It's really low maintenance, if I'm being honest. And I have two other brands that are a little bit higher maintenance than this one. This is probably my least time intensive brand because there could be weeks where I would only spend maybe an hour on the brand. I don't really do much. I might answer somewhat difficult question with customer service if, a customer has a problem. But other than that, it is really just reordering product and trying to make the next best thing. So as far as maintaining and the type of work that I do, it's very minimal.
So, if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
Personally, I would not run paid advertising, but if somebody actually knew how to do it properly, we do have hundreds of UGC content that could be repurposed for ads. I don't know how to personally run paid advertising. I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out, but I just never have. And, with having all this content, the type of testing and scalability of ads, I think could be actually incredible. Another way I'd definitely do it would be doubling down on organic influencers, basically sending them our product. They make a video, and that video just kind of lives forever. And, it's kind of like an evergreen marketing channel for us because we've had customers that literally purchase 2 years later after a video was posted saying that that's the reason they found our brand. So, organic influencer videos are definitely somewhere I would continue to invest into. Some other methods would be new product launches. I think there's always potential for doubling down on the brand itself and launching into somewhat saturated markets and leaning into, the fact that people care about our brand and will choose it over the generic versions. Some other ways I would definitely continue to grow would be licensing for our product. We have one that's currently upcoming and can definitely open the door to other licensing agreements because we're pretty familiar with the fact that once you get one license agreement, it should be easier to get a second because most of them will only work if you've done it before.
Right. And what would you say are the biggest risks with this business that buyers should be aware of?
Like with any kind of fast growing e-commerce brand, the main challenge is always going to be keeping products in stock. As we've grown, our demand has consistently outpaced what I forecasted for, selling. But there's been multiple times where we've sold out way faster than expected. And this can lead to, periods with low to no revenue for a particular SKU. And, honestly, I think that's a sign of a strong product, but it is also a risk, you carry with trying to serve multiple SKUs and trying to balance everything. So I think somebody with maybe a little bit more working capital and maybe a better system to manage inventories could easily get rid of that risk. So another risk I think personally is a lot of the sales do come from Amazon, roughly about 80% of them. That being said, the business does have a strong organic ranking and, high ratings, lots of reviews. But, we've built a email list outside of Amazon as well with 50,000 customers. This does make it a little bit easier to direct traffic where we want and, have a little bit more control over our customer data. But, I think the business really hasn't fully tapped into paid advertising, only a lot of organic means. So while some may view that as a missed opportunity, it represents one of the biggest upsides, I think, for a buyer who wants to kind of scale this brand aggressively. That's my opinion.
How much support are you willing to offer the buyer who acquires this business?
I'd be willing to help transition, between 30 to 60 days or maybe even past that. I don't see any reason that potential buyer would need to help past that. I think everything should be well transitioned by then. But yeah, I think up to 60 days, absolutely. I'm here to help, whether it be processes or marketing or anything to ensure, a successful transition. I'm absolutely here to help.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out agreement?
Probably not. I'm looking for more of a clean exit, to be honest.
Okay, final question. If you had to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why is your business a business worth buying?
I think for one, this is a premium brand, and you don't really see those for sale very often, at least not from what I've seen. Usually it's very basic branding and stuff, but this is actually one of the market leaders in this particular niche. And we have the profits to back it up, the high margins. We have very, very loyal customers, and our products are very defensible. We cannot be copied very easily. We have unique designs, copyrighted assets. We have packaging that just blows anyone else out of the water. The business has really just built a strong reputation and, partnered with hundreds of content creators to create that, community as well. So the operations are streamlined. The foundation is just very solid. And, with all the organic means that are driving the marketing, I think it's really just a no-brainer if you're worried about risk, because there's very limited risk with this. We've not really done much, and it's grown to where it is. I think there's a lot of growth levers as well that could be tapped into, such as paid ads and, direct to consumer expansion, wholesale, new product launches. So I think it's not really risky. You're just stepping into basically a proven, profitable business that can be scaled very quickly with the correct focus and passion.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this business is still for sale, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll find everything you need to know about this business. So, thanks for joining us. See you next time.